Hello, this is Jenna Roberts with Present Path Tarot, and today we're going to be looking at the Pensive Path Tarot by Reese Marren. This is a self-published deck. I like that. I saw her at Tarot Symposium, and I was immediately taken because she had her cards around her neck, and I was like, what is this deck? So I was excited to get it from her in person, and I like that she said this was hard to line up, that the box... they did a great job getting it lined up, but she said that was a complex part of the publishing process. The cards are based in classic art, and so the back of each card is actually the back of a painting. And she has one kind of giveaway card there. With the Pensive Path Tarot, she's at thecuratedcard.com if you want your own. I like that instead of a full... book, she gives you kind of a cheat sheet of the minor and major arcana here, and on the backs of them are numerology, a tarot spread option, and also on the back of the final card is the painters. Now what I love about this deck is that, well, she doesn't, I wish I would know what every painting was named and the artist who did it. That would be helpful, but maybe we can find that on her webpage. But what I like is that these are not famous artists. This is an obscure sort of, she did some searching. She's done some real curating to find the art that really suits the meanings of the cards. And of course, because it's traditional art, she could have found art that was a direct lift of the majors, especially. But she went for more the vibe of it. So I love like this Fool card being someone at the edge of a cliff who is kind of pensively looking to go adventure, I feel. They look a little bored. The Magician being a conductor. This High Priestess is, I just think, so cool. It's weird and creepy and mysterious and still has an odd femininity to it. The Empress card is a child, and I think it's an odd take on femininity starting in childhood, and so the masculine emperor is also a young boy with a more traditional emperor look around him. The Hierophant being a sort of priest. I love these oil paintings. I take interest in what she chose. I mean, the Lover's card, there's so much art that could have been a more traditional love painting, but she went with this sort of odd little community moment. And this Chariot card being, it looks like a Roma person traveling on a boxcar. She said that this Strength card is her favorite, and that if she makes another deck, she might be tempted to just use the same card again because it's one of her favorites. But I like that idea of Strength being the resolve to not eat the sausage. This Hermit, again, she could have chosen something, of course, the lantern being an essential symbol of the Hermit, but she could have found something that looks like a traditional Hermit card. Instead, she went for the vibe and mood of it. The Wheel card. This reminds me very much of another famous painting that I like that she didn't use the original. She's using these more unknown. And this Hanged Man, I mean, you can see kind of an army of people coming in the background or going. It's hard to tell. They're so small. And he's in the traditional pose of the Hanged Man. Clearly he's had a hard day. Yeah, I mean, death walking you down the beach. And I like how they all have a similar sort of coloration to them. I imagine that was not easy to bring together. That each of these cards has a similar sort of duskiness to their oil painting. And it reminds me of other art. So this one reminds me of the artist who always did Ships at Sea. And it brings up for me just an appreciation of classic art. And again, the mood of the moon, without it having to be about direct symbolism from the traditional meanings of the cards. This definitely captures the sun vibe. And it takes me to a time and place. I mean, that's a creepy Judgment card. I love it. It takes me to a time and place that feels like it's going to bring up different messages and meanings for me than I normally pull from the cards. That's and I love that it's a little creepy. I'm into creepy. This Ace of Wands is so beautiful. And I've seen other renditions of the Ace of Wands looking similarly to that. Two of Wands looking out the window, considering leaving. This deck is a mood, y'all. This deck is a mood. And I've seen a lot of decks based in traditional art. I have some, but this one being a variety of different artists without it feeling like you're jumping from one type of art to a next. I don't like mixed art decks. And this one, even though they're different artists and different eras, feels like they all belong together. I don't really love it when decks have a bunch of different art. I love this Eight of Wands. A bunch of different art by, you're jumping from rainbow to black and white and all these different feelings. And this one, I really am impressed how she carried the mood. I mean, that's the Nine of Wands. It's a perfect example of a Nine of Wands mood. And the Foolish Clown. So I was really excited to purchase this deck. I love it when I get to meet the artist, and in this case, meet the curator, which is its own art in itself. I'm a nostalgic, I'm a Cancerian, I love old things, and so for me this deck is particularly charming because it's just so honorary of the past. Interesting Two of Cups. It's just two people having a drink together, and less about love than the traditional, while this Three of Cups is straight up traditional. I love this Four of Cups. That's how I feel when I'm in that Four of Cups disappointment mode. The alcoholic vibe of the Five of Cups, which is, grief. And in this case brings in that alcoholic issue too. What are they holding there? Is that a fish? Okay. A painting of statues on the wall, Seven of Cups, which thing to purchase maybe? And I love this Eight of Cups that someone has left, and it feels to me like those left behind rather than the leaver. Traditionally it's someone leaving, but in that one it feels like someone has already left. She's got a lot of balloons, so I guess she's happy with her Nine of Cups. So I think the court cards are some of the most simple. You can kind of place your own mood into them, although she carries quite a mood. But I like it. She's by the ocean. She's got her cup. And he's running his ship at sea. I mean, you have to be... It's funny, somebody said, I couldn't read with that deck because this isn't quite the vibe of the Ace of Swords for me. But... because it's more of a positive card for me, but I like the darkness in here, the creepiness. Oh yeah, and this one, like that baby is holding, what is it holding, like a bird? Ooh, feel for that bird. She definitely has a little bit of a clown love going on. It's like the third clown card. Oh, and this kid's like leaning away from a bloody shirt. Oof. Oh, I feel like this would be a great deck if you're a writer to just pull a card and do a writing prompt from. And you could intermingle both the image itself and the experience of knowing what the card's about and tether them together to make a story of how this is an Eight of Swords moment. Looks like he's pulling a boat. So I imagine she zoomed in on some of these, of course, to make them fit into here. Yeah. That's a rough Ten of Swords. I love art. And I love tarot decks because, to me, you're paying a nominal price for 78 pieces of art. And I mean, may not be able to read for some people with this deck because of it's just being a little bit on the muddy, bloody side. But I also find some people really like that edge to a reading. I'm just curious what other messages are going to come out of these cards. I love this Three of Pentacles of the doctors looking at the cadaver. And there's three of them. You know, learning, growing. And the monkey. Monkeys, man. Monkeys are rough. Don't take things from monkeys. They will mess you up. I really feel like she captured the traditional meanings of the cards in a very clever way. Definitely got a lot of clowns in here, so she followed a theme of some kind with the clowns. And yeah, I mean, this deck is a mood, I think, is the main message I have here today. That if you love art and you want a deck that really steps outside the direct traditional tarot and has its own sort of flavor, but is following the mood of the cards, this is a great deck. Now, I wouldn't say this is a beginner's deck. I would recommend this for astute readers who have a lot of experience, so they can layer in and juxtapose the traditional meaning of the card with why Reese chose this particular image for it. And the King of Pentacles. And that's your deck. This is Jenna with Present Path Tarot. Please subscribe to my page for more deck flip-throughs and other fun things. I'm going to give you a rifle of the deck to see how it flops. Oh, nice. It has a good tension to it and a good flop to it. Ooh, feels good. Feels nice. I like it. They are thin, but they seem like they were well made. They have a nice gloss sort of to them so that they can, yeah, they move around nicely and smoothly. They don't stick together. The backs of the cards all kind of blend together. So if you're looking for choosing a card, you're not going to be able to know whether it's upright or reversed very easily. So thank you for listening today. And please like and subscribe and leave in the comments your thoughts of what art pieces you would relate to certain cards of the tarot. So make a little conversation going. Thanks so much for listening and have a wonderful week.